everyone, and welcome to my channel, and thank you for taking the time to watch this video. So this is another installment in the deck walkthrough series that I've been doing recently. I've done the first four videos on the Rider-Waite decks, and now I'm going to just do the variations of the Rider-Waite decks that I have with me, that I have used. So the first one I'm going to do is the Pictorial key of the tarot, which is very similar to the Rider-Waite deck. So it's a Rider-Waite inspired deck. There are some variations on the deck itself, on the actual symbology on the cards. But all in all, if you know the Rider-Waite deck, or if you've got books that pertain to the Rider-Waite deck, you can easily use them with the Pictorial key. This is a computer-generated image on the decks, so they're not painted pictures really. And they portray the symbology of the Rider-Waite really well. The cards are pretty clear, as you will see. So let's get into it. So it comes in this kind of box. It's a deck from the Lo Scarabeo people, and it's been designed by David Corsi. And it comes in quite a standard box. Not the most hardiest of boxes. It's got a lot of wear and tear already on the edges, just from handling the box itself, rather than actually going in and handling the deck too much. So, be aware that these boxes that come don't really come with a very long lifespan. It's a dark blue box as well, and it gives you a little bit of information on the side that it's a 78 card deck. So it's got a picture of the Two of Cups on the front, and it's got the High Priestess on the back. So let's look at it. So it comes with your standard little white book with a High Priestess on the front. Mine's a bit creased there, as you can see. And the book itself comes in about 5 languages. It's got just a little outline of what the deck is about in the beginning, and it goes on about the major arcana. It gives you each card and the essential meanings for it, and then it goes into the suits, which is the chalices, the pentacles, the wands, and the swords, and gives you a little bit about divination. It doesn't actually give you a spread here, so you can use your standard Celtic cross spread or whatever spread you prefer. So it's a deck that is pretty inexpensive, and it can be used by both people who are expert in the reading the tarot, or even people who are just starting out, because it reads so well like a Rider-Waite deck, so it makes it accessible to anyone, and it's pretty inexpensive. Something worth investing in as a cheap deck, or a cheaper deck where you can learn quite a bit from it. Also, what I like about it is, images are pretty good on it. So it's got your 2 extra cards that it comes with. So usually they print it out in 80 cards, and since it's a 78 card deck, you've got 2 extra cards that come through, and it's just an advert really for the Law of Attraction in this case, and there are different decks that they offer as Los Scarabeos. And a card with a pictorial key there. It shows you the back of the card has got a cross with a rose in the middle over there, and it's pretty good card stock, so you can do your riffle shuffling and not too much of a problem. It's got a sort of a mattish finish to it, not too shiny and not too slippery, so good enough for shuffling. So I'm going to show you the cards and compare it to the Rider-Waite, Radiant Rider-Waite deck. So the card itself comes with this border, a sort of a black, and then it goes into like a wooden kind of a pattern border. And it's got, for the major arcana, it's got the Roman numerals at the top and the bottom, as you can see. And for the minor arcana, it's got also, this is still major. It's got the suit on the top and the bottom, and it's got the numbers of the cards written in, just normal numbers, Arabic numbers if you like. So it's got the normal numbers at the bottom and the top of the card. So compared to the Rider-Waite, it's about the same size. It is the same size really, and sort of the same width of it. So if you're using Rider-Waite, it's easy to move into this deck. Just if you want something different, this is a good deck to start with. So let's place these, and you can see this is the Fool card. They look pretty much similar to each other, if not the same, except for the fact that this one hasn't got the dog in it and this one does. So be aware there are going to be variations of the cards itself. So this is the Magician. The images are pretty clear. It hasn't got the coloring of the Radiant Rider-Waite, but it's definitely got everything very, very clearly shown. This pentacle and the sword. You can see them very clearly. You know this is a table. There's no discrepancy about what images you are seeing. And the roses are very, very clear over there. So it's pretty clear. And you've got the High Priestess. She's clutching this Torah over here, and it's nice and red, and you can see that it's there. You can see the pillars quite clearly behind her, and you can see there is that image of the moon at the bottom of her feet over here, very, very, very clearly. And this is the Empress and the Emperor, and you can see his ram's heads are very clear over there. You can see that he's got his that orb in his hand and his crown on his head, so everything is pretty clear. He looks like a man not to be messed with. So this is the Hierophant and the Lovers, the Chariot, Strength, the Hermit, the Wheel of Fortune. Now all the elements are there. You can see the Sphinx at the top of the card over here. They're just, maybe they look a little different, but they are definitely all there. There's the snake here as it is here. So, and you've got Anubis over there. So you've got all the elements pretty much, very, very, it follows the symbology quite well. So this is Justice, the Hanged Man. Death is slightly different, but it's got the basic elements of the Death card in it with those two pillars. You've got the two pillars in the back over here, and here they brought it to the foreground. And you can see this new sun here, and there is there. So you do have those elements in it. And this is Temperance, the Devil. You can see the stone slab is very clear in this particular deck, so very nice. And the Devil looks much nicer in this deck than it does in this deck, I think. The Tower is also pretty good, very realistic kind of tower there. And this is the Star. Then you've got the Moon. There's a slight variation here. You've got like a monster, almost like an octopus, whereas here you've got this crayfish going up. So that's just a little variation in it. Then you've got the Sun, which has also got a variation. You've got two people in the Sun card, whereas here you've got a baby and a horse. Now, all that is going to be something that, changes your interpretation a bit, but it enhances your interpretation, all these different variations. So you've got the Judgment card. You don't see the graves in this particular deck. And the World. Now we're going into the suits. So this is the Ace of Cups coming in. It's very pretty. It's very clear. It's the Two of Cups, very similar. It's the Three of Cups, showing your abundance really nicely at the bottom over there. And the Four of Cups, you can see him turning away. You can see the expressions pretty well on this card as well, the facial expressions pretty well. So this is the Five of Cups, slightly different, but not too much. This is the Six of Cups. the Seven of Cups, the Eight of Cups, the Nine of Cups, and the Ten of Cups. This is the Page of Cups. The fish is very nicely shown there. The Knight of Cups, the Queen of Cups, the King of Cups. You can see his stability on this particular stone throne, so you can see that he's very emotionally stable. This is the Ace of Swords, the Two of Swords, the Three of Swords, and here the rain is shown really nicely. Now the Four of Swords is a slight variation. You've got a man lying flat here on the in the Rider-Waite system, but here he's on the stone slab, probably in a church, probably praying. So you can see it's slightly different, not quite the same there. This is the Five of Swords and the Six of Swords, the Seven of Swords. He looks really diabolical compared to the one in the Rider-Waite deck. The Eight of Swords, the Nine of Swords, and the most miserable card in the deck, the Ten of Swords. Right, so we're going to the Page of Swords, this is the Knight of Swords. So they've got the symbology of the knight's head here as opposed to being it written down as knight, so you can see that. The Queen of Swords and the King of Swords. And he looks very much a get up and go person, which, the King of Swords is pretty much, as opposed to this guy in the Rider-Waite deck. So this is the Ace of Wands, the Two of Wands, the Three of Wands. The ships are portrayed really nicely here. It's a really beautiful sunset scene, so it's beautiful. The Four of Wands. This as well, you can really see that wands being set out, with the four corners. You see that stability of it. Whereas here it's just in the foreground, and you have to sort of imagine that it's set out like this. So it's really nice. It shows it to you, and it brings it to you quite clearly. So this is the Five of Wands, and you can see everybody coming at him. The Six of Wands, the Seven of Wands, the Eight of Wands, the Nine of Wands, and the Ten of Wands. You got the Page of Wands, the Knight of Wands, the Queen of Wands. It's got this woman in a red dress here, showing, that she's a woman of action, which is really, it brings about extra symbology that you wouldn't get in the Rider-Waite deck. So bear that in mind there. The extra symbology is always helpful. And the King of Wands in most decks. So this is the Pentacle suit on the Ace of Pentacles, very nicely emphasizing this doorway through which you are going at the moment. Very, very nicely emphasized. The Two of Pentacles. Even here, the fact that he's juggling and balancing is so nicely emphasized, whereas it isn't here. Although the ships are missing here, it is showing, it's got a little balustrade at the back showing, there's some sort of block going on over there. So, although it's got different symbology, not very, very much dissimilar, but, it's all emphasizing things, making it look, giving it an extra meaning. So this is the Three of Pentacles and the Four of Pentacles. Oh, I like this, him sitting on a really big green chair, holding on to his money so tightly. So, it's showing its greed and clinging to things. Very nice. This is the Five of Pentacles. Another miserable card. The Six of Pentacles. The Seven of Pentacles. The Eight of Pentacles. The Nine of Pentacles. The Ten of Pentacles. Slightly different, showing the family situation, emphasizing that more. So this is the Page of Pentacles. The Knight of Pentacles. The Queen of Pentacles. And the King of Pentacles. So, you can see with this King of Pentacles, it's very clear that he's on a throne and he's got this green for abundance. Here, it seems a bit chaotic with these colors and the grapes, and, you don't see things very, very clearly in the Rider-Waite deck as you do in this particular deck. So images are very, very clear. The symbology is very, very clearly defined, and it shows that they did pay a lot of attention to the details of it. They kept it as close as possible to the Rider-Waite deck. I like the colors of it. They're very nice. They're beautiful colors, and they're calming colors. When you read the card, you don't want to be distraught and distressed by what you see. You want to see it, and you want to see it quickly, and you want to see it clearly. And this deck seems to deliver. This Pictorial key seems to deliver on that angle. That the colors are really lovely. They're very clear, very precise, and they're not overbearing. They're not garish. I like that about it, and it's got enough detail on it to make it look quite professional when you're looking at it. It's not they're not badly drawn images. They're really beautifully drawn as well. And like I said, it's nice and easy to shuffle these cards. They move quite quickly, quite easily, and there isn't any problem with that. So I really do like this deck. It is something that I use for reading. It's not something that you expect just somebody who's just started out to use it because it's so Rider-Waite. But it's got such good symbology that you can take it and use it in any kind of tarot read, for a personal read or even a professional read, and you're going to get good symbology, good messages coming through with the cards. You have something on which, as a jumping point, on which you can use your intuition to guide you on what you're interpreting in the cards. So pretty good, a deck that I would highly recommend for somebody who wants something that's similar to Rider-Waite, but not Rider-Waite, or is bored with Rider-Waite and wants to move on to something else, or wants to start reading the cards and doesn't want to start with the Rider-Waite deck. I really think this is a good deck to get, and that's the reason why I've invested in it, because I thought it was a really good deck to get. There's no compensation, let me say, for the Rider-Waite deck. It's still the best deck, I think. Still gives you the most messages, and even though you have a lot of new decks coming out, going back to it is still going to always be the best way. It's always good to have a strong foundation, and Rider-Waite is, I think, one of the strongest foundations as far as tarot learning, or even no matter how advanced you get, you can still always find something new inside in a Rider-Waite deck or a Rider-Waite inspired deck. So that was the deck walkthrough for the Pictorial key of the tarot. I will put in the links to Amazon and eBay where you can purchase these decks. And please, the tarot is not just for people who read tarot professionally or reading it for others. It's such a good learning tool for yourself. It's such a good tool to help you grow, spiritually, find answers where people can't help you. And it's also something that you can tap into your inner higher self and find the answers that you're looking for. Especially, when you reach points where you can't turn to anybody, and you only have the only answers have to come from within yourself. So, I would suggest getting a deck even just to use for yourself, and this is a really good deck to do that with. So I hope you've enjoyed this video, and please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and leave me some comments. These are deck walkthroughs, not deck reviews, or neither are they teaching sessions. So I am just introducing you to the decks so that you get familiar with them and have a broader knowledge. No knowledge is wasted knowledge. So I hope that you have enjoyed this, and like I said, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and thank you so much for watching. Take care now. Goodbye.